I'd rather move it forward so I can see the print. Where's my book?
Tammy, this is the only book.
Well, could you
Unless
order me one?
No, we can share it. I studied this before. You're welcome to look at it anytime you want.
Yeah, but why can't you order me my own?
You need to. There's Harold and Martha. Hello.
Hi, Bernie.
Oh, look at that beard. Oh, my goodness.
My beard? What beard?
Across the board. Standard.
How's Palm Desert?
We just got here.
Yeah,
I was
just got
like
here.
looking at everything to make sure that everything's.
It's cold tonight.
It's not too bad. It's about 85. Today was 105, but we got here at 7:30, so we missed the heat.
Good for you, yeah.
How you guys
What's the
doing?
schedule tomorrow? What do you have to do?
What are we doing tomorrow?
Well,
Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing?
No. Swimming,
On-
pickleball.
On Tuesday, we're going to go, when it's cooler, we're going to go to Joshua Tree. Joshua.
You were never there?
No, never
Oh,
went.
it's beautiful. Oh,
Yeah, it's going to be cooler than Tuesday's going to be like in the 70s.
So
So,
we're going to go.
yes.
oh, yeah.
We did it when we went on a Pesach program. We went, I went with my kids hiking there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, what do you see there? What's there?
The tree.
It's a rocky terrain. No, it's pretty. I can't remember exactly the visual, but
You
I
need a
remember-
lot of water.
Oh, a lot of water? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, like Evian or Perrier? Which one?
You're right. We need the Perrier. We're going to France soon.
That's right. When are you guys going?
End of June.
That's very nice. Where you're going is very nice. Very nice. And you'll learn something too. So it's a
win-win.
A win-win.
What did you learn about the French women? Tell me.
I learned that the beaches there are terrible. They're rocky. They're not nice at all.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on, we were in Cannes. We thought they were nice. You're right. We didn't go into the water.
We
but
were in
No,
Nice.
No, in Nice. You guys are going to
Nice.
be in Nice. It's,
We're
you know-
starting in Nice. Yeah.
yeah, it's, I don't know. I didn't find it so.
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
only good for your niece.
It's not nice.
It's okay.
It's okay. I mean, it's France. It's
Harold, you would say you met this is my niece. I'm introducing.
This is my niece.
Right.
No, I want to know because we planned on staying there another 2 days.
At the end of the tour.
Well, you can go to Monte Carlo, which is beautiful. And then there's other little towns like Saint-Tropez, which is gorgeous. And
We're staying in Saint-Tropez for a couple of days, I think, around Shabbos.
What
Oh, that's
about
good.
Monte Carlo?
Monte Carlo is beautiful.
Very nice.
Maybe we should plan on going
Well,
there.
look at
Yeah, George.
What happened, Harold? Oh, anyway, yeah, Monte Carlo was very, very nice. Very nice.
We're
But
going on the trip.
I
I'm
think
gonna
so. I think
check.
it's included in it also. I have to go look at the paperwork. You
Yeah,
talk-
but
talk
if you're
to Martha
telling
from
me
there.
niece is not so nice, I'm
But
not
that's
staying.
just where we're starting. We're leaving for the first
No.
day. No.
No, Bernie, we're
Okay.
supposed to be staying there the extra days.
Oh, we're landing in Marseille. I'm sorry. You're right.
well, there's food there. There's a kosher place where you can go eat.
No, there's food somewhere else.
Yeah,
too.
there's
Oh, Magda,
a
you
bunch
wear-
of kosher
you're wearing
restaurants
the
there.
necklace.
Well, I know that in Nice there's food. I don't. Where else are you going? I mean, that's good. So that's good. As long as there is food, then you're okay. There is no food.
I
it's not
see
fun.
you wearing my necklace. That,
Without food, you become
Of course,
crazy.
I'm wearing your necklace. Of
are
course,
you enjoying it?
I wear it all the time. Of course, of
No,
course.
I'm sorry. We're going to be in Monte Carlo over Shabbos. The first place we stop is Saint-Remy. I don't know where that is.
No, when are we
From
in?
Marseille, we go to Saint-Remy, and then we go to Monte Carlo,
For
and,
how
and then
long?
Nice.
How long is the whole tour? How many days?
8 days, I think.
Wow, fantastic.
And then we're staying another 2 days with Walter and Esty.
And my brother, but that's in.
Oh yeah, Moshe and Amira
But
coming
that's
too.
in Nice. You keep telling me it's not nice.
You
We
get in
should-
a car and you drive to Cannes. That's all. It's not that far. Correct?
I mean, I don't know.
I think
I
so.
No,
was-
you gotta
I
know.
was-
I don't want
I'm
to.
telling you from the last time we went there.
I
It's
wasn't.
not a long drive.
I'm sorry. I was not impressed with Nice, but maybe you'd like it. You know, it's like a nice. It's the beach. You know, it's like a what is Or you walk on the boardwalk.
The boardwalk, yeah.
Yeah, Temi doesn't go into the sea anyway, so it's rocky. That's
Yeah.
if you like
Yeah.
to be in the beach, walk into the ocean. You're not going to do that.
No, we didn't do that either.
There's
No,
a-
the
there's a-
hotel has a pool.
Yeah, Antibes is very nice. Cap d'Antibes. That's it's before Cannes and Nice. It's between Cannes and Nice. That's when we went way up on top and we saw. Yeah. If
What is there? It's up on top of a mountain.
No, you're probably gonna go up in the mountains. All these like medieval cities up in the mountains
that's
there.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a gorgeous view of the Mediterranean. It's beautiful. And if you're near Grasse, that's where they grow all the flowers for perfume. So they take you to a perfumery where they rip you off. But it's very pretty. It depends on the time of the year.
I won't remember. I better write it down. Give me a pen. You don't
Yeah,
write
gloss.
it down.
I don't think I'm going to be using the perfume, so I'm not worried.
No,
about
but
it.
I want to see it. So what did you say is above Nice?
It's called Grasse, Grasse. That's the city. That's the perfume center of France.
Yeah, but where is it?
It's in the hills overlooking the Gulf, the Mediterranean.
That's what you're going to do in the
I thought that's
Wait.
French for marijuana.
Now, what's the other thing, Harold?
It's
up
called
the mountain.
Antibes. Antibes.
Antibes.
Yeah, that's very pretty. It's like
Antibes.
just that.
And that's above Nice?
No, that's between Cannes and Nice.
Yeah, so that's the way. It's an easy drive.
It's between Cannes and Nice. And then there was a town we went way up in the hills. Well, we went to Vence, Vence. I think that's where there's a Chagall museum.
Chagall?
Chagall Museum.
No, where is he buried? He's buried somewhere over there.
He's
We
buried-
went to the cemetery. I mean, you didn't, but I did.
I ain't gone to cemeteries.
Unless he takes you there.
That's all we did on that one trip. Go from one cemetery to another. It's not for me.
Oh, that's in Poland.
No, but we went to the cemetery just to see Chagall. I don't know. It was like
It's in
I thought it
Vence,
was-
yeah, St.
I
Paul
thought
de
it-
Vence.
I thought it was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to go. Hi.
Johnny's grandfather is buried there.
Who is?
Johnny's grandfather.
He was buried in Vence?
Or the other place you mentioned. There's a
Oh,
cemetery.
yeah, I
That's
know.
where he's
Yeah, we went there. Remember, we were
Yeah,
with Johnny. Yeah.
But I don't remember.
Which
Yeah.
one was it?
You don't want to go to the cemetery.
It's a Jewish cemetery. Chagall is not there. Chagall is in the main cemetery of the city.
We went actually to a place where they held the Jews, when they they sort of gathered them out of Paris and they put them
That-
somewhere. It
yes.
was like in a brick factory.
Yeah, so Johnny's family was there.
Yeah, and we saw his
Well, that was Vichy, France.
Yeah, it was-
Vichy
yeah.
France, but then they took all these Jews to this.
I
Yes.
know that.
Right out into the.
I'm
I
sure you're
work on
going
that
to,
too. There was a book we read recently about that.
yeah, I'm sure you're going to go to that cemetery, that brick factory. I don't know. I think.
Oh,
gonna
there's
make
a
bricks.
museum. This is for Tammy. There's a museum of jewelry, but it's costume.
Costume.
Oh, costume
Hey,
jewelry, not
where
for
is that?
Unless
Tammy.
you try to steal the jewelry, it's not.
Not for Tammy.
Hello. With the rise of gold, I'll have to start selling custom jewelry. It'll do much better.
Wow.
Where is that museum?
It's
Oh,
in
no.
Vence, Vence.
No, it's a
No,
Or
the one that
maybe-
was Chagall is in Vence. Where Johnny's family is, I don't remember.
This is in Grasse, the museum.
Where?
Oh, it's in Grasse. It's where the perfume area is. Oh, that's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's good. You can see Grasse, the perfume, and also where Johnny's family is buried.
No, he said custom jewelry.
I did
Yes.
say that. I did.
In the same city.
What city?
Grasse.
Yes, I wrote it down.
I have a book. I'm going to check it out. I don't have it here, but where this that place where they took all the Jews, they gathered them over there.
Okay, let's go back 20 centuries now. Ernie's here.
Where is he? Here.
Oh.
Where is he?
Oh,
Yeah,
Mazel
because
tov,
we're
Ernie.
back to Myra. Now, normally our Myra minute earlier.
New Mazel Tov.
Thank you very much.
Mazel tov, mazel tov.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. Mother and baby are coming home, God willing, tomorrow.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Good.
They are in Mayer Hospital in Kfar Saba, which is a 30-minute walk from where they live in Ranana.
It's across the highway.
Yes, across the highway there.
How big was the baby?
7 pounds, 8 ounces.
Oh,
Beautiful.
that's a big
It
baby.
looks just like Shoshana.
Beautiful.
Oh, what page are we on?
I'm gonna tell you 1 second. I think we're on
22,
Pasuk
23.
Chaf Hey. Perek Beis Pasuk Chaf Hey.
Okay, yeah, 25.
22. What?
Okay, so
Perek Bait? What Perek?
Perek Beis
Uh-huh.
Chaf Hey.
24, no?
Yeah, okay, even 23 we can start. Let me just get, I have a Ramban. I thought I,
No, here, this page. Page 23, page 24, that's what you mean?
No, page 19, if you're looking at the
He's talking about the pasuk.
Oh, okay.
Pasuk 24.
use their consult. My lens is coming out.
Yeah.
What's in there?
Diplomas.
Huh?
Diplomas.
yeah, here we are. Okay. Okay. So we know that Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. He wanted the Chachamim of Babylonia to actually tell him his dream. And they couldn't, and he had them killed. And now,
Daniel offer, no?
so let's, page, Pasuk Chav Dalet. Kol kabedina Daniel al Aryoch. Aryoch, we said, was Nebuzradan. Was the Rav Tabachim, was like the executioner of Nebuchadnezzar. And Daniel comes to him and says, Di mani malka lohovadala chakimei Bavel. The king has appointed you to kill all the chachamim. Azav v'chinomer lechakimei Bavel. Al tovev. Daniel says to Aryoch, do not destroy or kill the chachamim of Bavel. Haleni kademalka, bring me before the king. Upshar lemalka achve, and I will give the king an interpretation of his dream. He wanted Aryoch to try to save as many people as he could. Pasuk Chav Hey. So Adin Aryoch bihit bahala. Bihit bolalut is like bahala is like in haste. Immediately, Aryoch brings Daniel before the king. Hanal Daniel Kademalka. V'chein Amarle, and what does Aryoch say to Nebuchadnezzar? The Ashkachas government b'nei Galusa. You know, I found a man from the exiles of Judea, the Yehud. Right, one of the first times you see the word Yehudi, right? Because the tribe of Judah is Yehud, the Pishra Malka Yehuda, and he will interpret the king's dream. Aryoch is trying to calm the anger of Nebuchadnezzar down. If you remember, he got angry at them because they had advised him to destroy the Beis Hamikdash. Now, without the prophecy and nevuah that exists in Beis Hamikdash, he can't have his dreams interpreted because the Urim V'Tumim had been, there's no Urim V'Tumim anymore. So now Aryoch is lessening the anger by telling him, you know what, I found a Jew from the Golus of Yerushalayim. He knows these secrets. He will be able, because it says in Baba Basra, Miyom Shecharav Beis HaMikdash Nitla Nevuim and Anavim V'Nitla Chachamim. From the day when the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, the prophets do not have Nevuah, it's been given to Chachamim. Isn't this interesting? It's very similar to the Sarah Mashkim, who tells Paro that, I met a man, Yosef Atzadik, in prison. He was able to interpret dreams, right? V'shami tanu nar ivri. And here he's calling a nar Yehudi. So there's a parallel. Pasuk Chavav. Ana malka v'amar l'Daniel. So the king responds and says to Daniel, Di shmei Belshazzar. If you remember in Perek Aleph, Daniel gets a Babylonian name, Belshazzar. By the way, Belshazzar was one of the idols that was worshipped in Babylonia. So by giving Daniel that name is a very high name. Ha'itach kahelo datani chelma. Are you capable of letting me know what the dream was, the chazis upishra that I saw? Please let me know what the dream was and what its interpretation is. Perhaps Nebuchadnezzar had confidence in Daniel because the Belshazzar name is Nebuchadnezzar's own Elil that he worshipped. Pasuk Chav Zayin. Ana Daniel kodem malka v'omar. Daniel answers the king. Razadi malka shoel. You have a secret. Your secret is you want us to tell you exactly what your dream was. Lo chakimen, not wise people, not ashpin, which are astrologers, not chartumim, which are necromancers, gazrin, demon worshippers, yachtlin lachva malka. Nobody in that category can know the dream. Remember, Daniel is trying to save them. And he as well is putting his 2 cents in that they really had no ability to do so. Daniel is going to give all the credit to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Melech Malchi Amlochim. That's the Chachma he wants to show Nebuchadnezzar, not any of these witchcraft magicians. And we'll see later on, he wants to divert attention from himself to Hashem. This is not my wisdom. This is only HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yosef also, in front of Paro said to him, Shamati alecha omrim, tishma chalom liftoroto. Paro told Yosef, I heard about you, that you hear dreams, you can interpret it. What did Yosef say? Say, Biladai, ha'elokim yanet shlom Paro. Only God will answer Paro. Pasuk Chavchat. Biram iti elo bishmaya galei rozim. He says, there is a God in heaven who knows secrets and reveals them. Galei rozim, reveals secrets. V'hodala malkat Nebuchadnezzar. He will inform, or he has informed Nebuchadnezzar through the dream, Ma di lehevi b'achris yomayu. What is going to be at the end of days? Chelmach, your dream, the chazvei roshach, and the visions that are in your head, al mishkavcha dinahu, the visions in your mind while you're sleeping in your bed, these, I'm going now to relate them to you. Remember, the Chachamim of Bavel had told the king, Malachim in Shamayim are the only people who can give you this answer. And Daniel said, no, Even Malach HaShamayim can't do it, only Hashem. And Hashem is doing this to reveal to Nebuchadnezzar the secrets of the future. This is one of the reasons the Meforshim say that Sefer Daniel is written in Aramaic, because we're about to hear in Yonei Geula and the Zman of Geula, and this is Torah Sod. And Sod is written in Aramaic. You know, the Zohar is written in Aramaic because also it deals with Sod. Pasuk Chavtes. Anta Malka, you king. Rayonach al mishkavcha sliki. Madi lehevi achrei dino. Your thoughts while you were sleeping in bed, right, are ideas about what's going to happen in the future. V'gala razio hodacha madi lehevi. Gala razio is the person who reveals secrets. Means Hashem, he informed you of what's going to happen in the future. Now, Rashi and Ibn Ezra say that during the daytime, you, Nebuchadnezzar, were wondering what's going to happen to my empire after I leave, after I die. And you were, when you went to sleep, you were worried about this. Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani in Brachas 55b says that a person is only shown in his dreams what he thinks about during the day. So if this is what he was thinking about, what's going to happen to his kingdom after his death, it makes sense why he dreamed about it. The Ma'aner Yeshua says that a multitude of information is continuously being transmitted to this world from above, but it is only received by those who make some preparation to receive it. The king, in his preoccupation with the worry of what would happen after him, was in the right frame of mind to receive this dream. And the Talmud seems to be saying that divinely revealed dreams appear within the framework of a person's regular thoughts. The Rambam in Shmona Prakim says, just as the visual side of a dream is a combination of images already present in your mind, so are the underlying ideas. The interpretation of the dream composed of ideas already present in the mind. Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani, in that Gemara I quoted, says a person is never shown a tree made of gold or an elephant going through the eye of a needle. It's got to be something that he can relate to. It's not something completely crazy. Nebuchadnezzar was the first king who ruled over the whole world, like Alexander the Great. So his thoughts are of thoughts of rule and who's going to take over his kingdom. That would be, you'd consider that normal for a king who's in the position of Nebuchadnezzar. Pasuk Lamed. Says Daniel, Va'ana lo b'chachma di'at bi min kol chaya. I am telling you this, and I know this, not because I have more wisdom than anybody. Raza d'no Galilei. Lahen al divras tipshal l'malka yodon. My job is to make the interpretation known to you. V'rayonech libavcha tinda, so that you will understand what has occupied your thoughts. It's another reason why he's saying this, because he doesn't want him to kill out those other sages. He wants to say it's all coming from God. when a person is given great gifts by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a person shouldn't go around bragging about it. He should lower himself and make it aware to people that it's all from Hashem. We see Daniel acting in this way. Chizkiyahu HaMelech, remember, was punished because he didn't have that attribute. And Daniel is a grandson of Chizkiyahu HaMelech, so he's being Mesake in this Ched of Chizkiyahu. Now the dream. Pasuk Lamed Aleph. Anta Malka, Chazahavis, Va'alut Slem Chatzagi. You saw a huge, like an image, like a statue, like a tselem. The Chen Rav Ziva Yatir. It was immense and very bright, and it was facing you. Yatir Kaim Lekablech. V'Rave Dechil. Its form was fearsome. In Hebrew, Ro'eh Ayita V'nei Tzelem Echad Gadol, Tzelem Asher Kenhu Nichbad Kemo Shehu Gadol. V'Ziv Yeter Omed L'Negdach. This statue is standing opposite you. V'Tiaro Nora. Its form is terrifying. This statue is going to represent Daled Malchios, 4 kingdoms that have persecuted Klal Yisrael. Bavel, Paras Umadai, Persia and Media, Greece, Yavon, and then Romi. We're going to see, the Even Ezra learns that Rome and Greece are going to be the 3rd, and the Arabs, the Ishmaelim, are the 4th. But all the other Meforshim say that no, the 4th is going to be Rome. And this Tselem is made up of these 4 Malchios. Eventually, after these kingdoms rule and fall, the Malchus will come back to the Jewish people. And this Tselem is a pesel, it's a statue, it doesn't have any life. It has no power of its own. It's something chitzoni. It's showing that it's just temporary, that God is giving these kingdoms temporary rule. What is the blessing? If we saw King Charles, we say, Shnatan michvodo lebasar v'dam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives honor to a human being. So, Pasuk Lamed Beis, 32. Hud Salma, this image, Reshe Didav Tav, its head was of fine gold. Chadudei Udroi Li de Kasef, its breast and 2 arms were silver. Me'ohi, its belly, the Yarkase, and its thighs, Di Nochash, is made of copper. Now, in Chazal, shok is the leg, from the knee down to the ankle. But the Mitzudos say the thigh is called Yorich. That's the majority opinion. Now, a tselem can be made of many metals. A human being is made out of one material. Cells, we have different organs. There's a difference between the brain, the head and the body, but it's one organism, and it all works b'shleimus. Not so is it tselem. Meforshim say Nebuchadnezzar and Malchus Bavel represents the head because it was the first of the of the Goluses. Now, the source of Bavel comes right after the Mabul in Bereshis. It says, "V'kush yalad et Nimrod, Nimrod, hu echel liot gibor ba'aretz, v'tihi reshit mamlachto Bavel." So Nimrod is the one who founds Bavel. And that was actually the first Malchus in the world. Now, the Ramban says there in Sefer Bereshis that Nimrod hu echel liot moshel b'gvurato al anashim. Prior to that, people were hunter-gatherers. And they lived tribes. Maybe they had chiefs in their little tribes. But Nimrod is the first person that established a kingdom and ruled over people. Until the Mabul, they were just Yechidim, small hunter-gatherers. Like if you go to New Guinea today, or places where there, there's no, you still find hunter-gatherers. That's what you find. You don't find empires. There was no Malchus. Nimrod made him a melech. So we see the whole concept of Bavel, and the Arizal says Nebuchadnezzar is the Gilgul of Nimrod. And from that source, Nebuchadnezzar drew the power in order to rule over the Kippah. Listen to this, what the Mekubalim say. I saw this from the Ramami Panu. Nebuchadnezzar hayanechet shel Malka Shva, that the Queen of Sheba, who came to visit Shlomo HaMelech, Nebuchadnezzar was a grandson of Malka Shva. If you remember when we learned in Melachim, she had sources of gold. That's why the head of gold references Nebuchadnezzar. He was also the grandson of Shlomo HaMelech, who had relations with Malka Shva after he converted her. And from that union came Nebuchadnezzar. During Shlomo HaMelech, it says, "Ein kesef lo nechshel b'mei Shlomo me'uma." Shlomo HaMelech was so wealthy that, silver wasn't anything. And the yesod of the Beis HaMikdash was kulo zahav. Says Reish Lakish lo haya olam roi lishtamish b'zahav lama nivra b'shvil Beis HaMikdash. So the whole concept of zahav is created for the Beis HaMikdash. Nebuchadnezzar's sources come from Shlomo Melech and Malka Shva, both pointing to gold. And he had a Yanika from the Beis HaMikdash. That's why he had the power to destroy it. After Klal Yisrael sinned and worshipped Avodah Zarah, he was the right person to do it. Even earlier, in one of the first prokim of Sefer Bereshis, it says, Nahar Yotzei Me'eden, a river came out of Gan Eden, La'ashkos Zagan, V'hayala Arba Roshim. And it says there were 4 heads of that river. Says Bereshis Rabbah, Elu Dalet Galios, Keneged Dalet Roshim. These are the 4 exiles. Shem Ha'echad Pishon Zu Bavel, because Hu HaSovevet Kol Eretz HaChavila, Asher Shama Zahav. So the river of Bavel circled the land of gold. So we see the connection of gold to Bavel. Not only that, Bavel is called the Rosh, which is the place of the Moach, the brain, and the Neshama. And it provides life for the whole body. Achashverosh ruled after him. He was of Persia and the Medes. And we said that the silver was the chest. So the chest, that's the place of the lave. And that represented Achashverosh. And then Alexander the Great, who follows Achashverosh to be ruler of the world, was the head of the Greeks. And he's from the stomach and the legs, because that's where the liver is, which is an aver that the neshama, you can't live without your liver. He was also these three people, Nebuchadnezzar, Achashver, and Alexander, the Chazal say they ruled over the whole world. They were Moshel Bekipa. That's why they needed to have areas in the body where the neshama is tluyaba, either the head, the heart, or the liver. Right? So we said that the breast and the arms were made out of silver, and this is Modayu Poras. It's not the same chashivus as Nebuchadnezzar, because Nebuchadnezzar ruled over the chayos and the oifois, because it was similar to Shlomo HaMelech, but not Modayu Poras. They were on a lesser level. This breast and two arms were made out of silver. Interesting. Modai Uparas were two different empires. First Mede, then Koresh was the first Persian. It's Shtaim Shenachas. You have two arms, but they're one. They participate in the Malchus. Like it says, Chel Parasu Madai, and Lamalchem Madai Uparas. That's why the Chalom came with two arms, Shtaim Shenachas. The Medrash Rabbah connects the dream that Yaakov Avinu had with the Sulam, the ladder with the angels going up and down. It says in Bereishis Rabbah, Yesh Kesher ben HaChalom shel Yaakov Avinu leben HaChalom shel Nebuchadnezzar. Shegam HaChalom shel Yaakov Avinu kashur im hashibud v'hashilton shel HaMalchus b'Yisrael. The dream of Yaakov had to do also with the Dalet Golios. It's one thing. The Malachim going up and down, they go up, they go down. That's the empires that go up and then they fall. Elu sarei arba balchios shultonos gomeres ben. Oilim v'yordim. What does it say? The last one? He didn't see it go down. That's the final one, where we don't see an end. The Ramban on the Torah, Parshas Vayetze, says, Al dat Rabbi Eliezer Gadol, Hayta zot hamareh kinyan bein aptarim lavron. So now we've said that Nebuchadnezzar has had a dream about the four Malchios. We've learned that Yaakov and the Sulam relates to the Dalet Malchios. And the Brit, the covenant, bein aptarim with Avram Avinu, he was also shown four Malchios. In the dream to Yaakov, Heres Sar Malchus Bavel Ola Shivim Ukim V'Yored. The angel of Babylonia went up 70 steps, came down. Heres Sar Malchus Modai Ola Chamishim Ushnaim Ukim V'Yored. The Persian rule was 52 years, so the Malach went up 52 steps, came down. Heres Sar Malchus Yavan Ola Me'avishmonim Ukim V'Yored. The Greek dominion was 180 years. It went up 180 steps and came down. Hereu Sar Malchus Edom Olavena Yored. He saw the angel representing Edom go up and never come down. Amar lo Yaakov Achel Shaol Ture. Won't he go down into the grave? Amar lo Kadosh Baruch Hu Im Tagbia Kenesher. If you rise up like an eagle, he will go down. Now, we said that the stomach and the legs were made out of copper. This is Malchus Yavon, which is comparable to copper. Now, gold and silver might be valuable, but they're not very strong. Their value is because they're scarce. People pay money on it. But copper is a very strong metal, and it's got beauty. But it doesn't have the school of Zov Kesef. That's the difference between Malchus Nebuchadnezzar, Modai Uparas. They had koach, and they had spiritual values. They were close to the kochot ruchanim. But so that's Zava Kesef, which is compared to Yirva Ya'avod, has certain spiritual aspects. Bavel was Yira and Modai Uparas was Ava. They made it very physical. That's why the Gemara says in Megillah Yud Aleph about Persians, Dov Sheniskak, Dov Shokik Zerchas Veres. He's like a bear, very physical. Elu Parsim Sha'oichlin V'shoisim Kidov. But Yavan is even a lesser level than those. That's why it's copper. It was very physical. They were into the body, into achila, eating and drinking, which is connected to the stomach. That's the culture of Greece. Epicureanism, live for today. There is no tomorrow. There is no scharva onesh. That's all Greek. Okay, Lamed Gimel. Shakoi di parzel. The legs were made out of barzel, iron. Ragloi minondi barzel. The feet were partly iron, uminondi chasav, partly clay. So it's a mixture. Part iron, part clay. Lamed Gimel, right? The thighs are the Malchus Edom. They're powerful, and so it's like barzel, very strong. A sword is made out of barzel, and Esav, who represents Edom, was told, Al Charbacha Sichye, because it kills, the Torah is prohibited to put steel on the Mizbeach, because it represents death and destruction. That's Malchus Aravia, the Roman exile. So the Metzudas David explains why it was made partially of iron and partially of clay. Listen to what the Metzudas says. At the end of the Roman exile, Uva man shel sofa malchios yimshlu yachad gamachus Edom v'gamachus Yishmael shehi meshula lecheres hasui me'afru mayim ve'en lo shum chashivus. So can you imagine this? The Niel is predicting that at the end of the 2,000 years of Roman rule, the Arabs are going to rise up, Malchus Yishmael, and there's going to be a combination, both of Western civilization and Islamic civilization.
That's their dogma. That's their religious belief, that at the end of the days, they will become supreme.
But it's not, you notice the Metzudah says they will rule together. Yemeshlu Yachad, right? The United States represents Western civilization. So does Europe, Russia. You understand? They're ruling parallel. They're side by side ruling, Bernie. The Ishmaelim have not dominated.
The Ishmaelim have that dream that that's the ultimate end for them, that they will rule the world and they'll convert everybody to Islam.
I know, but it doesn't. But that's not the nevuah of Daniel. I think that the Nevuah of Daniel is more realistic, the way it is now. Meaning, Rome ruled by itself, let's say until 700 CE. Then the Arabs conquered North Africa and eventually the Eastern Roman Empire. They went all the way into Spain. So you could say maybe 1300 years ago, we begin to see joint rule between Edom and Yishmael. And I would say it continues today, that there's joint rule. They have 1.5 billion people. The West also. I don't know where China and all those people fit in. Okay, Lamed Dalet 34. Chazei Havius, you watched. Adi Hisgaras Even, a stone was hewn, Dilo Biyadayim, without hands. Normally, a worker has to go into a quarry and chip away rock. But this stone was created without hands. Umachaslet Sama ad Ragloi. This stone landed on the statue on the feet of iron and earthenware. Ad Ragloi de Parzla v'chaspa. V'adek is Himon, and it crumbled them. So we have to understand the interpretation of that. Well, first, Daniel is telling him what he saw in the dream, which nobody else could have done. The Meforshim say this stone is Meramez Lemelech HaMashiach. Where do we see? Even Moasu Aboinim Haisa L'Rosh Pina. The cornerstone is going to be laid by Mashiach. That's the Even. The Haftarah that we learn Shabbos Chanukah from the Novi Zechariah at the last pasuk, V'hotzi et ha'even ha'rosha. What does the Targum say? The Mashiach will be revealed. And the Mashiach is going to come without any human hands. That's why the stone lands on the feet. It's not being thrown by anybody. It just happens. It's a koach eloki. It's a God event. And that's what's going to bring down these Daled Malchios. Like we say, or Tefillah, Efes Biltecha Go Aleinu Limosa Mashiach. Once we recognize the Kodesh Baruch Hu as our Goel, it's only going to be Lo Bidei Adam. Yaakov Avinu is referred to as Misham Ro'eh Even Yisrael. And that's the connection to Even HaShasiyah, the rock, the dome of the rock, right? The Kodesh Kadoshim stood on that stone. This stone is a remez to when David HaMelech fought Goliath. He picked up stones, 5 little stones. They ended up in one stone, and that was the one that he used to kill Goliath. Those 5 stones represents the 5 words of Kriya Shema. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And that's the stone that killed Goliath. A stone exists from the beginning of creation. Yes, there's erosion, but it's the original Chomer that was created b'sheish Simeim Breishis. It's not formed by humans. But the parts of the tselem were human. So this Even is reminding us of Malchus Melech HaMashiach, which is the eternal victory of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Pasuk Lamed. After the stone lands on the feet, Biden Dakuk Chachada Parzla Chaspa Nechosha, the iron, the earthenware, the copper, the silver, and the gold, Kaspa of the Ava, Havu Ka'or Min Idri Kayat. They crumble. They're like chaff from summer threshing floors. Unasahi Manrucha. The wind carries it away. The Kol Atar Lo Yishtakach Lo, no trace is found. Va'avna Dimachas L'Tzalmo. This stone that struck the Tselem Havis Laturav becomes a great mountain, Umolos Kol Ara, and fills the whole world. Dana Chalma, this is the dream. Upashra Nemer Kodamalka. And now I will tell you the interpretation of the dream. The Ramban in Sefer Geula says, Hamalchus ha'arba lo yichrusu ad bo Mashiach. These four kingdoms will not completely be destroyed until Mashiach comes. And Rome will be destroyed first. He bought Yada Mashiach. Umikoch mapalata. This is the Rambam writing 800 years ago. The ramifications of the fall of Rome, Yichrusu v'yigvo Yevonim v'gamar Parsim v'Akasdim. All these other nations, the Greeks and the Persians, etc., that are still around, will also fall. Pasuk Lamed Vav. We begin the interpretation. Anta Malka Melech Malchaya. You, king, who the king of kings, right? Melech Malchaya, the Eloah Shmaya is the God in heaven. But Malchus Achisna v'Takva, the Yikar Yavlach, he gave you a strong kingdom with power and honor. By the way, the Meforshim say Daniel revealed the interpretation only in private. The telling of the dream was done openly, but now the interpretation, because some of the interpretation will discuss the falling of the king. He didn't want to embarrass the king. And Daniel is going to give him the interpretation regarding these four kingdoms. That's the Abarbanel who says that the interpretation was done privately. Pasuk Lamed Ches, 38. Uvechol di dairin. Wherever people are, Bnei Anasha, Chevas brought wild beasts, of Shmaya, birds of the sky live. Yahav bidech, he has given all of these things to you to subjugate. Ve'ashaltach b'cholon, you rule over all of it. Anta hu reisha didava. So he says to Nebuchadnezzar, you are the head of gold that's being seen in this selling. However, ubasrach, after you, takum malko acharoi, minach. There will be an inferior kingdom that will arise. Umalka tlisa, a third kingdom, achrei dinachasha, will be of copper. The tishlat b'cholara, that will rule over the whole world. Now, this is a great controversy, who these four kingdoms are. As I said, the Midrashim say that Greece is the third kingdom and Rome is the fourth kingdom. Remember, the Christian censors removed a lot of this material from Chazal. But Rav Sadia Gaon, the Rambam, the Ramban, all have this opinion. Now, as I said before, the Ibn Ezra says that Rome and Greece are in the third kingdom, and the fourth kingdom are the Arabs. The Ramban says that the four kingdoms are not meant to embrace all of mankind's history, but are to include in an outline form the history of the Jewish exile. Therefore, only the kingdoms considered responsible for the exile are mentioned. Other kingdoms, Genghis Khan, the Chinese, right? Chinese that no matter how great their might are not named. And according to the Ramban, the Arabic Empire did not succeed Rome in the scope of its consciousness. The influence of Rome in the formation of Arab and Turkish empires, we can see extension of them as being outgrowth of the Roman Empire. There's also influence of Christianity on Islam. We're going to see in Perek Zion that there's going to be a metamorphosis. The angel tells Daniel then, between secular power of the Roman Empire into the religious power of Christianity. Because Emperor Constantine in the year 300 CE causes the empire to convert to Christianity. So it becomes a state religion. So the fourth kingdom can be represented by the Christian church as well. There's a Rome edition of the Rambam where it was not censored. Otherwise, it was all censored. What does it say in that edition of the Rambam in 1480? And all these matters, that of Yeshu the Nazarene, that's Jesus Christ, and that of this Ishmaelite, who arose after him, referring to Muhammad, are only to prepare the way for the Messianic king and to perfect the whole world to serve God together. That's what the Rambam says. And there's a Ramban inside that we can that we can read. So I think we got a very good flavor. We're pretty much on the downhill. We got an idea of what the dream was, what the interpretation of the dream is. We'll finish that up and start Perek Aleph next week.
Did you make, yeah, this, I don't know, what is this book? I don't know, the one I'm learning from. Whatever, it says that, did you talk about the Barbanel? It says,
I said the Abarbanel said that Daniel gave this interpretation privately because because he's going to talk about that there's going to be other kingdoms that follow him. He didn't want to embarrass them by saying that publicly.
no, but Abarbanel points out historically that many of Rome's early rulers were, I don't know how to pronounce it, Idumeans, immigrants from the small kingdom of Idumea or Edom,
Yes.
bordering on the land of Israel. It was the Edomites who introduced Christianity into Rome, and Islam was derived from Christianity. For this reason, Rome is considered the people of Edom, and we consider ourselves as being in the exile of Edom.
Yes, absolutely, right. Edom is Esav was given the land of Edom, and that's why whenever, like Yaakov, Parshas Vayishlach, the meeting between Yaakov and Esav is the rabbis used to study that parsha before they would go to the Pope, before they would have to deal with Christian rulers, because everything you just said is all wrapped up into one. The Romans became the Christian church, and we are still in that exile, Western civilization, let's call it. And Mashiach still hasn't come. The Rabbi said these empires will remain until Mashiach comes. So I think this is I'm surprised why Daniel isn't studied more, because it's very relevant to us. I think more, it's a real nevuah about history that we saw unfold. Remember, for Daniel, it's 1,500 years going forward. Okay. Any other comments, Aros? Susie is in Renana.
Yeah, you get Mazel Tov.
Yeah.